in my travels, I've picked up this interesting stencil, and I'm going to review it. I got this from Hobbycraft, which is a store in the UK. It was £4.50. It's A4 sized, and has this interesting cracked earth texture. But that's not the only texture it can represent. I'm going to have a little bit of a play with some spray paints and some airbrushes. Don't turn off because you heard airbrushes. There are other ways to do it. But I'm going to go and have a little play with some spray paints. First little experiment, we're going to do some cracked earth for some 40k runes. So by Pariah Nexus, this is a 4" by 6" section, and this is an old lino tile. Self-adhesive if you want to stick them down. What I'm going to do is put the stencil over the top, and then just try and get some of this detail on there. I made sure not to spray right to the edges of the building ruin, so I'm going to peel it off. We've got now an interesting little texture with virtually no effort. That'll look really cool. Let's throw a building ruin on it quick and see how it's... This one's probably a little too large, but for demonstrating the effect, I think that looks okay. Well, that's one way to use it. Let's try a different way. This time we're going to use the same trick, but with an off-white colour. This one's a Rakkar Flesh equivalent from Colourforge, Dead Animal Bits. Interesting. Now that looks a bit more like grouting, but that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something fancy with an airbrush now. I said I was going to go with an airbrush. I lied. I'm going to put some pink into the recesses on this. This is a bright pink. It's a Fulgrim pink. I'm just going to go into the centres. This will jump back in when I have done that. All of those little crags have now been infilled with pink, because I'm going to try and do a lava glow. So I'm using heavily thinned Bile Red. I'm just going to stipple it on with an old worn out paintbrush. I'm going to go quite roughly around all of those areas I've just painted pink. I'm just going to go outside and onto the grey area around it. This will look quite bright at first. As it dries, it will darken, and that's where you're going to get the cool effect. I'll jump back in after I've done one coat, because this might take 2 or 3 to get it to look just right. That's one coat of paint, so I'm going to go back in. That's not quite vibrant enough, the pink is showing through. I'm going to go through and do a second layer. That's the red dried, but what we're missing is the light source. We've got a glow, but not where it's coming from, and the glow is always the brightest point. So I've got some orange here, molten lava, funnily enough, from the army painter. I'm going to go painting like I did with the pink earlier along all those crag lines. This will be our light source. I'm going to be a little bit adventurous here, so we can add loops in it and other sort of little areas of interest. Join it up a little. Have some fun and be creative at this stage. This will jump back in when I've done all of that. And there's the orange highlights. So that's a really quick and easy way to do some terrain, or even some large bases, lava effect. Let's try one more thing though. With another rough cut of vinyl, I've created a blue fade in the centre. And I'm going to hit it with some black spray paint from the top, over the top of that stencil. I'm going to try and do an ice field. All I'm going to do is come in with some thin black paint and join all of these cracks together, because that will make it look more convincing. It shouldn't take too long. And it will jump back in when I have finished. I've finished with the black, joining up all these crazy patterns and cracks. It still looks a little flat, so I'm going to come in with some Temple Guard blue and just highlight only on this blue part, not on the grey outside areas, where the black meets the blue. This just helps give it some extra definition. It helps it stand out. And there are my edge highlights on a flat surface done. And you can see that really makes all those crevices really pop. It looks like a shattered ice lake. So there's our 3 examples of what you can do with one stencil. I did think of another one that you could actually do a marble effect with this, which is interesting. So this isn't just useful for 40k or fantasy battle. This could also be used for D&D. These vinyl tiles are so cheap. They're about £30 for 10 tiles that are the size of this cutting mat. So if you want to do something really fancy for D&D, that £4.50 stencil is quite versatile. I really like this one. I think I might do some more work on this in the future. Well, anyway, I hope you find that review useful, and I'll see you on the next one.